Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia, and with me today we have Nick.
Oh.
Brandon.
We're
here talking about games and things.
Sure am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the Gamers and Dingus.
DOS games.
And DOS things.
Let's see what's up today. Pokemon Legends Arceus returns. Vampire Slayers, Tiny Tina. Nick watched the movie.
That's Survivors.
What did I say? Survivors.
Survivors.
Survivus.
Mm-hmm.
Survivus and Survated.
We go back to the Swedish thing? Okay.
Let's just roll with it for the whole show. Alright. Arceus. Brandon, what are your updated thoughts?
I've seen the credits roll.
Okay.
So I have finished the main game, and then I won't spoil anything else after that, but it is still a very enjoyable game.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little overwhelmed at the end when I realized how many side quests there are, and how a lot of those side quests are the best way to catch the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of taken a step back, and I haven't played much beyond finishing to the credits rolling.
Okay.
I know there is more game afterwards. Not going to spoil anything directly because Nick will be playing.
Yes,
but I do quite like this game a lot. I think all the biomes are very nice. I like all the different things that you can turn into. It's neat. It's a very good game. Very, very good game. I guess my updated thoughts would be I got into an argument on r/gaming about it.
Oh no,
God.
Brandon.
So there was a post, and my friend showed me this. He was the one that originally convinced me to buy this, and now wants me to finish it like 100% because he said it just gets better as you do everything. But the post essentially said that the graphics of the game and a lot of games on the Switch are held back by the hardware.
Okay.
And on this post, there was nothing but a bunch of people shitting on Game Freak for being too lazy to pay more money to make their game run better. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, that's not how engines and software and hardware interact with each other. That just isn't how it works. They'd have to have the permission from Nintendo, because Nintendo is the main, it's the system they're doing it on. They'd have to be like, hey, Nintendo, can we make a new engine? And Nintendo is very uptight about things. We all know that here. And I tried explaining to them, that's not how it works. And I'll give you a little snippet of it. Someone said, whoever wrote this article hasn't seen Monster Hunter Rise running on the Switch. And that's why I know this statement isn't true. It's limited by the money that Game Freak wants to spend on their optimization for the game.
Wow, it has nothing to do with the ancient Tegra X1 chip that's inside of the Switch right now.
My reply was, Monster Hunter Rise is using a totally different engine. In fact, it's the same engine that was made for RE7 and 8. And that engine scales beautifully to anything. You should probably learn about how programming, development for engines, and other such things work before you open your mouth next time. Their reply, I don't really need to learn how programming and development work.
Wow.
Game Freak does. That's why I pay for a game. Pokemon is one of the best-selling IPs in the world, and Game Freak didn't spend a dime in optimizing its engine. Selling nowadays games that are made with the same old engines used for the 3DS, it's okay to look the other way. Denying it won't improve the game or make it any better. Sorry to say this, but people like you are responsible for the low quality of Pokemon's IP. They know they will sell whatever is named after Pokemon, no matter what it is.
That describes the Brandon I know very well.
It does. Oh, it's weird. It's almost like he knows you.
Yeah. Did you write it about? Have you been arguing with yourself on Reddit?
Hold on, I got more posts because this is fun. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read you the whole conversation. It's not that long, I promise. So my reply back was, "Great job proving exactly just how ignorant you are in one post. Just say that you hate Game Freak and Nintendo because it's hip and cool to do so currently, and move on with it instead of making up excuses for your own ignorance. Spending money to optimize an engine? How stupid are you? That isn't how it works. If an engine isn't made for the Switch, throwing money, any amount of money at it doesn't fix the problem, and it takes many years to design a new one. The average wait time for an engine development starts at 6 years. So many people are pointing at things like the engine used for Monster Hunter Rise as an example without realizing things such as the fact that the engine that it's built on, which is an absolutely amazing engine, by the way, was made to be scalable down to even mobile gaming as such because it was originally designed for smartphones and the Switch to begin with. It works incredibly well on anything you throw at it. This one does not." Their response: "You're contradicting yourself. It's fun how someone can be so confident and so clueless at the same time. Yes, money can make engines better. The better engines can make better games. Let me know if you have problems understanding how a company pays developers to make a new engine. I can make you a little drawing so you can understand it better. Yes, I got it. The current engine used to make Pokemon is crap and you love crap." Never once have I said that I love this game, by the way, during this entire argument. But that's okay. You said that. I didn't. We'll get back to that. Game Freak could have made a new engine a few years ago, but they didn't. They're using the same one they used for the 3DS because they just want to take your money and run. If you like that, just call them and give them your banking details as well. I'm sure they'll love to have fanboys' money for free, since it's pretty much what they've been doing with these Pokemon copy-paste games. Final response: "I never even said I love crap or this Pokemon game. You actually said that. I didn't. I do enjoy this game, however, because it's actually a very good game. I just said you have so little knowledge of what goes into creating engines, and that was it. Whatever you say, though. You're right. They're using the same 3DS engine that was made for X and Y because Nintendo doesn't see a need for a new one because they cost a lot of money to make, and as such, they probably don't want one made for the Switch due to it being such underpowered hardware. I mean, for instance, just look at Far Cry or anything made by Bethesda. They've had the same engine for upwards of 10 to 15 years now, in the case of Far Cry, that is. Also, one last thing. You're talking about Pokemon copy and paste game, but this game is legitimately the most different Pokemon game made in upwards of a decade. Like, I get it. You hate the company and you hate Game Freak because it's cool to do so, but at least try being consistent. Or at least, if you're going to start an argument, try being right." All right, that was the end of my little spat with this fucking idiot. So that kind of says how I feel. I really like this game. It's quite good, and I think that anyone that's complaining and saying that Game Freak is lazy because they make copy-paste games haven't played this fucking game and are too stupid to realize that this is completely different from anything Game Freak's made in about 20 years.
Well, what's dumb about it too is like those are probably the same people who played Breath of the Wild and were like, this game looks amazing and is bleeding edge.
They are actually the same people. And I saw my favorite argument that I saw in the entire post was, The Witcher 3 runs on Switch. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, at 240p, you fucking idiot. What are you, blind?
It runs like you're running on a fucking Magnavox VHS player. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But it runs, Brandon. It runs, okay? Thank you.
Let me tell you something as an auto mechanic. There's a difference between something running and then running good.
There sure is.
That's
auto mechanics, PC gamers. Difference between something running and something running good.
I'm just saying,
it's just
like,
the meme where both hands are like shaking each other.
They're just shaking. But like, no, like it's so stupid because one, right? Like for all they know, there could be a new engine in development, right? But engine development takes a very long time.
And also, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because the technology that the Switch is running on is ancient. To make a new engine specifically for that, how long do we think the Switch has? I think they said 5 years left at most. It wouldn't be worth the development time they had put into the engine in order to have the turnaround for the Switch after the Switch has moved on. You know what I mean? Yep. It's just dumb.
Well, not to mention too, this game was kind of this was not them like, let's go out on a limb and revolutionize Pokemon. It was, from my understanding, it's like, hey, we have a wild idea. Can we have a small team and try to build something with what we got? And they were like, yeah, sure, here you go. Here's some scrap from Sword and Shield, and go to town. Good luck. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they would be like, they're not looking at this as like, let's reinvent the wheel. It's like, hey, we just got these resources. Let's try something different. And they're not going to build a whole new engine for that, because who fucking knew that this game was going to be good? That's part of the reason why it won our most anticipated game of the year. Because we're like, we don't fucking know what this game is. Nobody showed us anything, and they were not even committed enough to be like, this is the future of Pokemon. They're like, yeah, we're trying something different. We'll see what happens.
It's actually really good too. So
we're fucking around and finding out.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, I agree, and I spent a lot of time with it too. Last week, I finished. Well, I told you guys last episode I was just about to like finish the game, which is like catching all the Pokemon so you can meet Arceus. That's like the end thing. So I did do that, and it was great. And then at that point, it's just been dabbling with it. So because I'm not at a point where I want to put it down, but I'm also not at a point where I want to move on to something else yet.
I've caught a few shinies. You should do that. It's fun.
Yeah, I've caught a couple too. I haven't gotten on my way to catch them. I found some random ones, which has been kind of cool. Like my last Pokemon ended up being, I needed a Glaceon, and I found a shiny Eevee. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just evolve this into my final Pokemon. There you go. So my last Pokemon for my Pokemon to see Arceus was my shiny Eevee. So that was cool.
I found a shiny Dusclops. That was weird, because it's like a maroon red. It's like, oh, okay.
All mine look like the exact same. I got like a shiny Glaceon, which looks like a regular Glaceon. Shiny Eevee is pretty cool looking though, because it's like white. So that was kind of cool. But then my other ones were like shiny Burma, whatever.
Okay.
It fell out of a tree, and I was about to annihilate it like I always do, and I'm like, wait a second, why are there stars coming off this thing? And yeah, so that was a surprise. And it was like a shiny like Chimecho, I think.
Chimecho?
Yeah, the thing looks like a chime, like wind
it's
chime.
It's a wind chime, yeah.
Yeah.
The wind chime Pokemon.
Yeah, those are the ones I got. And then there is a shiny Pokemon that you can get through a quest. So I got that one too, obviously.
Yeah, I know about that one. Yeah, I got that one too.
But that one's cool though. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, me too. Because blue.
Yeah.
Instead of reddish orange.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I've just been fucking around with it. At this point, I'm just kind of like, well, maybe I'll just dabble through and like complete the Pokedex entries.
You going for the 100% on them, like the completion?
Not like the full, not the full complete the Pokedex, but just enough to like the 10 for each one, just to finish their entries. Okay. The only one I perfected was unknown, because that's what happens when you catch them all.
Okay.
It's done. And that's most of the rest of them are like, catch 30, and I'm like, fuck you, no, I'm not. Nice to meet you.
It's really easy to do that with an outbreak. You just go over there and be like, but. My friend had like a really funny observation the other day. He was like, I caught a what is it? An alpha Golbat, and I didn't realize I'd caught an alpha Golbat because it has no eyes, so it didn't light up red. So it's just like I caught a really big Golbat and it was an alpha, but I couldn't tell because it has no eyes.
That's really funny, actually. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. What was I gonna say? It was about outbreaks? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. It's gone. Totally gone. But
throwing Pokeballs at fish sucks.
It does. Some of them, like,
there's fishing rods.
No, it's not a thing here, my friend.
Yeah, some Pokemon, like Basculon, is like, it's easier to catch from like the shore. and because there's certain areas where it's just hanging out on the seaside.
I'm about to
And
drop off a bird and do a fucking 360 no scope catch them instead of using the fucking fish.
Well, you do get like that slow mo, like throwing
It
thing.
doesn't help because you have to lead the ball and you don't really know which direction they're gonna swim away in when you land. So it's like if you throw it while you're in the air, sometimes it just doesn't go far enough. Sometimes it goes too far because they've moved to the side. It's just a pain in the ass.
One thing I do wish is I wish I could use balls on some of the other rideable
Oh,
Pokemon.
plus, whenever a Pokeball like hits water, that's it. It's over. It's just done. And that happens all too often, where it's like I throw it, and it's just like the second, even if like a millimeter of the Pokeball touches the water, it's gone. Even if it looks like it should have hit the Pokemon, no, it touched a little bit of the water on the side, so it's gone. That's like one of my big complaints I have about this Pokemon game. It's really difficult to catch water Pokemon that are in the actual water.
Yeah, some of them are really easy, like Magikarps. Like you just run right over them, and then you're like, all right, gotcha.
I actually even had a problem with that because I had an alpha Magikarp, and that motherfucker, he just flew in like a wrecking ball from off screen and kicked my shit in, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, so those ones, the Basculins I caught from like there's an area where they spawn that's like right next to the shore. So I like caught them there. Gyarados, I think the first time I just evolved it. The second time I think I just fought an alpha and got it. What others? The Mantikes and the Mantines or whatever, like the things that killed Steve Irwin. Those things are pretty easy to catch. Yes, the manta rays.
Oh fuck.
Wow.
Okay.
He died in the wonderful world of Pokemon, folks.
Of course.
He was isekai'd.
Oh my god. we got Mike using the term isekai correctly now. All right, cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they'll like swim alongside you. So those ones are pretty good. Some of the other ones are like really fucking aggressive though. Like the Wishcash, those are really aggressive. Like those electric, like mustached ones, and the Remoraid's are really aggressive. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't disagree. It does suck. Some of them. One of my least favorite bosses is not a water Pokemon. You have to fight it in the water though.
Okay.
It's a legendary, and it's one of my least favorite battles in this entire game. So, but you will see after you beat the true final boss.
Yeah, I know.
Although,
I know.
My favorite Pokemon for catching Pokemon is Darkrai. You should be able to catch that now.
Okay.
Use the pre-order bonus if you had a save file for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Oh, well, I did have a save file, but I didn't pre-order.
No, it hasn't anything to do with pre-ordering it. It's just if you have a save file for that game on your system, you get access to that quest.
Oh, okay. What's it even called?
I don't know. It shows up after after the credits roll.
Okay.
And it's like one of the quests that's in like the professor's office. And it's something in like the Coronet Highlands. And this guy's like, hey, there's a creepy thing that's been trying to eat me while I've been sleeping or whatever.
Yeah, it's a creepy thing. Go stop it.
You see this fucking guy over here trying to eat?
Yeah. So you go over there and then you can go catch it. But Darkrai's got a move that puts Pokemon to sleep and lowers their defenses. So whenever some asshole Pokemon's giving problems, I'm like, all right, Darkrai, do your shit.
Nice.
And he's like, okay. And then they all they want to be inside your Pokeball.
Nice, I understand.
So, yeah. I don't know if there's anything like extra else to say about it though. Like I said, I had an excellent time. I recommend it. I'm kind of excited to see what the DLC ends up being because presumably there will be some. And yeah, just
looking forward to that one.
Yeah, just chugging along on it. I'm just disappointed Nick didn't get it yet. I don't know what he's waiting for.
I know. I'll get it after.
I think it
Sure.
has something to do with the fact that he thought he was fired, so he probably didn't.
Yeah, I
go
was
out
like, let
and-
me not spend money. Let me just not spend any money.
I think that's a very legitimate reason not to.
Yeah, I think so. But anyways, that's all I got on
Okay.
Pokemon Legends. I don't think I really have anything too much else.
Yeah, me neither. This
Mhm.
is a game. It's a pretty good game. I like the game. It's good.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot last week.
Mhm.
So there's not really that much to add.
Sure.
So, yeah. Unless you have any burning questions, Nick.
The Pokemon in it?
Yes. Sometimes.
Oh,
Ooh.
actually, one little Easter egg thing that I noticed.
Hmm.
I accidentally left the game on the title screen earlier,
Mhm.
and it plays the Pokemon theme on the flute, and I never noticed that before.
Oh, nice.
It's just like I'm gonna try to whistle it. It's not happening. But like the dun 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 dun. It just plays it like slow, like kind of like cryptic.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
There
Yeah.
we go. Now I get it.
Yeah,
Now you're getting it.
play with Power Kids.
Now I'm getting it.
Mm-hmm. All right, but yeah, for Pokemon Arceus, and that's all we got for Pokemon Arceus.
Yep.
Want to talk about other things?
I'll talk about Vampire Survivors.
All right.
All right. So I picked this game up on a whim. It was recommended to me by a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is a $3 game on Steam. With 30,000 reviews rated overwhelmingly positive. So it's a banger, basically.
Yeah.
Let me try to explain what this game is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
This
go for it.
game is a bullet hell shooter if you are the bullet hell.
Huh?
Yeah, so this is sort of an idle game, but also not. Your character automatically attacks. You just move them around with WAS and D. You move them into enemies and you let them do attacks, and when they do attacks, they level up after you collect enough money. Once you level up your character from collecting money in a run, because you just do runs, because it's also like a roguelike, basically. And once you've leveled up your character enough and like filled up the blue bar at the top, essentially you'll get a option of 3 things that you can pick from. Some of them will be things like main spell cast has a like takes less to cast, or maybe you'll fire 2 fireballs instead of 1 fireball, and that sort of thing. I'm gonna help you understand a little bit more, Nick, by putting in the general chat so you can actually see the game.
Yeah.
And basically, you just keep doing that, and you keep killing enemies until you become a literal god. And a 2070 Super can't run this at 60 FPS because I'm firing like 8,000 projectiles at once. Because this game is made to be broken as hard as humanly possible. So, like, when you're doing a run, you have treasure chests that drop, and sometimes when you kill a powerful enemy, and when the treasure chests drop, it'll give you like money, like it'll give you like gold that you could spend on upgrade perks that are permanent. So for the next time you play, you have like a permanent upgrade perk where it's like you fire 1 extra ability. So instead of slicing once automatically, it slices to the left and to the right at the same time automatically. And yeah, this game is so much fun. I lost 4 hours yesterday playing this, and I didn't even realize it.
Wow.
Each run lasts about, I think, 30 minutes at most, because at the end of the run, essentially you're going to be attacked by the Grim Reaper that will automatically kill you if you make it all the way through the run. But like, you want to see how far you can get if you get like the right combination to actually finish it. And each time you do that, you unlock more characters, so you have different characters. Like the first one you start out with is essentially like Simon Belmont. He has like a whip attack
Okay.
that slices vertical depending on like the way you're facing, basically. So like you face to the left, it slices to the left. Face to the right, it slices to the right. And you are trying to just build up your repertoire of abilities. Like, for instance, there's one called Garlic, and Garlic makes a circle of protection around you. And if you like run into like the smaller enemies, they automatically die without you having to like do your attack towards them and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But the entire game can be played with like a single hand because you only have to use 3 keys more or less, or 4 keys more or less. That you don't have to actually cast your attacks. They're on a cooldown where they automatically do them itself. So this is kind of also an idle game, but not really because there's a lot more to it. Because you got to like dodge the waves of enemies that come at you. Because like the further along you get in the game, the more enemies just come until there's so many enemies on screen that essentially your entire screen is an enemy. But if you've like got the right spells and you've gotten lucky and you've got the right things, you're firing so many bullets that essentially you're the bullet hell and you're able to annihilate everything on the screen with ease and pick up things and level up more and continue further and further into the map. And it's just a lot of fun. This is a really fun game. I think this is also on mobile. I think this is where it came from.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know how it works on mobile if it's a paid game and it's just all let's see. It just says itch.io. Oh, this is a browser game. What?
You paid for it.
I don't care. This is worth it.
Never mind.
I don't even give a flying fuck. Yeah, this is actually can be played in browser. That is sick. That is actually sick. Totally worth it. I don't give a fuck that I paid for this. It's totally worth the money. It's $3. I don't give a shit. These guys deserve the money, and I hope that this ends up on like Switch because this would be the perfect pick up and play game on like the Switch. It's just great. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend trying this one out. If you want to play it in your browser, since apparently it's free on browser, and you can do so on their itch.io website, because I guess the game is literally baked into your browser when you go to their webpage. It's not the exact same thing that's on the Steam version, but I mean it's close enough, and I don't see any ads or anything, so you should be good. But yeah, this game's great. Highly recommend playing it if you just want to use like 15, 20, or like 15, 20 minutes, or like 3 hours without noticing it. So yeah, check it out.
Right.
The browser version has 7 characters. The Steam version has 11 characters. Has more items in the Steam version, more characters, achievements, more stages. So yeah, that's the difference there. But if you want to like see if you want to like spend $3, which honestly you do if you like a little bit of the game, I'd highly recommend checking out first their itch.io and then buy the game. So there you go. Good game worth playing.
Okay. Nick, I guess it's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to Nick. Nick's got to talk now.
I'm the last hope.
Yeah, you're last hope.
All right. So I played a game and I watched a thing this week.
Okay.
So for PlayStation Plus for the month of February, the Tiny Tina DLC for Borderlands 2 came out as a free download like standalone thing. And I never actually played that DLC from Borderlands 2.
You never played the best DLC of this series?
No, I never did. Yeah. So I don't know how it is like compared to the standalone version. Because in the standalone version, every time you level up, I get 2 skill points. And, like, you level up super fast because, like, it's a short DLC. But I guess they were like, oh, well, we gotta make sure you get the most out of the experience while you're at it. So I've been playing it with my friends, and it's really good. I really like the writing a lot, which is a big improvement because in recent years, Borderlands writing has just kind of gotten very stale and redundant and just stupid, but not in, like, a funny way.
How's that an improvement, then? This game's from 2012.
I'm saying it's an improvement overall for my experience
the current
of the
Borderlands. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. Did you ever play Borderlands 2?
Yeah, Borderlands 2 is the best one.
Yeah, this is from Borderlands 2.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 is the best one.
Yeah, that's why it's good.
So
And
I really
about
liked
the
it a
skill
lot.
point thing you were saying, you don't get like 2 skill points or anything at a time because this is in-game content for Borderlands 2.
Yes. Um, so I guess they just did a little bit. So this obviously just to give you a taste of what you can kind of expect from the upcoming Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which even though it's supposed to be like a taste of that, it's nothing like that because Tiny Tina's Wonderlands does not play like Tiny Tina Assault on Dragon Keep because that game plays like Borderlands 2, whereas they're kind of taking Wonderlands in a completely new combat direction because like you actually have like spells and completely different classes and stuff of that nature. So I think it was more so of a way for you to be like, oh, this is what I could expect maybe from like the writing and the gameplay because it basically is just D&D. And what's really cool about it is like obviously I play D&D pretty much every week with my friends and I listen to various D&D based media. So like playing this it was like really cool for that. They did like a weird thing with the controls for the standalone where L1 and R1 were the zoom in and the shoot and I had to like switch it back. It just felt really weird. But I mean, as far as games go, if you haven't played it when Borderlands 2 was out, it's free. It's just Borderlands 2 with D&D stuff, and it's fun. It's good. It's exactly what you would expect. I still don't know if I'm going to get Wonderlands though.
I feel like this is like a trap because
Yes.
this was made in like early days of Borderlands where like things weren't off limits. They weren't so up their own ass about
Hmm.
Borderlands just in general, and things were a lot more fun.
Yeah.
The new one will be made in 2020 Borderlands time, where everything is hyper serious unless it's fart jokes, and then otherwise
Well,
it's just law random humor a la Adult
I
Swim, the like
think.
worst of Adult Swim, and fart jokes
Let me
with
see
a bad game on top of it.
Tiny Tina because I'm not sure what they went with her adult version in Wonderland, I believe.
Yes, but
Yes, they
my
did.
main point is like I played Borderlands 3. The
No, no,
writing
no.
just gets
What
worse.
what I'm saying is that this is going to be a very very weird way to frame this, but just stay with me.
Hmm.
Tina's adult version in Borderlands 3 is not as enjoyable as her child version
Correct.
because it's funnier when it's like I don't know what she's like 12, 13 years old. Like a
Hmm.
12, 13-year-old girl like just being a psychotic fucking explosives
Yeah.
maniac.
Hmm.
In this it's an adult woman, so it's kind of like it loses some of that charm and it's not like I don't know, it's just different. And like her voice is completely different and it's not the same.
The writers are different.
And I don't again, I'm not trying to say like it's because she's an adult now. I know that can come off as weird, but it's literally like there was a like a part of the humor and the joke was like here's this little girl having tea parties and stuff with her stuffed animals. Also, she has a bandit held captive who she's slowly torturing and kills.
Yeah,
You
not
know what
only
I mean?
that, but it's like her character doesn't really advance beyond what she originally was, and in some ways her character like devolves.
Yeah,
And like it's not really what they did with her isn't that funny. It isn't that entertaining. It isn't that
yeah,
good. She seems more now annoying for the sake of being annoying than a child that's annoying because they're a child and they don't know any better.
yes,
And as such, like I said, Borderlands just went down the route of like, the humor you'd see on an annoying Adult Swim show that you're like, oh god,
yes.
this is
Also,
bad.
can I just point something out real quick? Because I'm looking at the pre-order page for all the different editions and whatnot.
Oh yes, wonderful. Go for it.
Um, so the physical copy, which I'm gonna look at, is for so the PS4 version and the Xbox One version
Hmm.
are the standard edition. If you
Okay.
have a next gen console, I assume you have to buy the next level edition.
Let
Okay.
me let me look at this.
Because physical, let me see here. It's how much is it? It's $90 for the Chaotic Great version, $70 for the Next Level edition, and I assume 60 for the base. But I assume if you buy the base and pop it in your PS5, you got to pay for the upgrade.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right now. They're even charging $70 for the PC version.
That's hilarious.
So
because they can get rid of it now.
Yeah, they can, even though the quality's not
But
there,
what's
and it's just
funny,
like, oh, we can do that now because other.
What's funny, right? The most expensive edition of the game, the Treasure Trove edition that comes with a Bunkers and Badasses module, which is like you can use it to actually play like a D&D campaign with.
That's kind of cool.
Butt Stallion plush, some companion pins, some tarot cards, which I little ditty about me. I love seeing like alternative art tarot cards because they're cool to me. Cloth Wonderlands map.
Look.
And a Butt Stallion Castle Papercraft booklet. Now you get all of that. How much would you pay for all of that?
I'm gonna guess it's only like. Is it like $30 extra, or is it like grossly overpriced, like $250?
It is $99 USD with no game.
What? Oh, yikes!
So you get just a bunch of like. And I will say this too, as somebody who bought the like highest tier collector's edition of Borderlands 3, I have like that big like box, that big plastic box with all the shit in it. That came with the game. Why does this not come with the game? Why does I don't know how much it was in comparison. I think it was actually quite expensive, but
sorry.
And I was just gonna say, like, it's silly. It's very silly. So I probably will be getting this at launch because you do raise a good point. While it's almost like a trap that they put out the one-shot DLC because it's not gonna be like this game. It's really not. And I just wanted to point that out, is that if you wanted to go play the actual good version of all of this, go download that for free, and then hope to God that this is maybe decent, but probably won't be. So, because Borderlands 3 was not good. I can't even bring myself to... like, I know the jokes be like, oh, Nick, you never beat games in general. Like, I really cannot, like, play Borderlands 3. It's just, it's not good.
I finished it. I finished it and all of its DLC.
It's
not worth your time. It's not worth your time.
I'd rather put the time in playing Borderlands 2 again.
The biggest issue I had with Borderlands 3, I'm gonna let you know right now, Nick. All right, and this is my biggest issue, and I feel like it's a product of the time, and that's what makes it such a big issue. Borderlands 2 is great because of vastly overpowered weapons and just straight up broken characters.
Yes.
They nerfed my character like 80 times and buffed him like 60 times. They nerfed everyone's character often and changed their entire loadouts and characterization and everything. So literally, it felt as like a games as a service while I was playing Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
It sucked. It sucked. Because like quite literally, I would boot up the game and be like, do I have to respec my character that I have at level 90 or some shit right now because they fuck me over with the new update? Like every single time I were to play that game, that would happen. I couldn't just pop a disc in and be like, all right, I'm broken as fuck, let's have some fun. No, because it felt like these people didn't want to have fun with Borderlands. And that fucking sucks. They wanted to take it seriously, and it's like, that's not Borderlands. Get that shit the fuck out of here, essentially. And then the other thing was, I looked up the PC version, and I know I saw it for $70 before, but it only says $59.99 now. But also, I look over here, and it's like, next-gen optimizations only for PS5 and Xbox Series X such as. All right, hold on. And this is on the actual website, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, are those versions of the game gonna have stuff that the PC version doesn't? I'm actually curious, because that's the kind of bullshit that 2K would pull. And
Gearbox,
Gearbox. Well, both of them. Both of them are fucking scummy ass pieces of shit. So at the end of the day, I have to like, I'm sitting here like, I wonder if they actually are going to purposely gimp the PC version of this game.
Maybe that's what's his name's new magic trick.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not interested in this game at all. I'll probably play it because I always play it with my friends. I always go through it and play it with them when they play these, but I really have no interest at all playing this because I just don't think Borderlands is good anymore. I played the pre-sequel, I played 3, I played every DLC for 3, and then I was just like, nah, I'm good. This game's not good anymore.
Yeah, so.
And then, I also played the VR version of 2, and I was like, this is good. What happened to this game?
Yeah.
So, you know.
But, so yeah, that's what I played this week, in terms of video game stuff. But I do want to talk about a movie that I watched.
Oh, yeah?
I want to talk about a show, but you can talk about your movie, and then I'll talk about the show. Is that okay?
I don't know if either of you guys watched this movie quite yet, but I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I have not
been
watched
wanting
this.
to.
I want to see this in Spider-Man.
So, as somebody who loves Ghostbusters, it teeters on that. It's not bad, right? Like, it's not a bad movie, but it's like I also wouldn't care if I never got more from it again.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does it feel like this is just made so the property could stay out there in public, like in the public's eye?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say that because, hold on, let me just real quick. Because when we booted the movie up, because me and my girlfriend were watching this movie, there's actually a company that had like a splash screen. It's called Ghost Corps.
Okay.
Or Ghost Corps, whatever you have you say that, which was founded in 2015. And it's an American production company that is strictly just work on Ghostbuster stuff.
I see. And
they originally worked on the Ghostbusters 2016 remake, whatever. Yes, and then
that's so spooky.
And then they also did Afterlife. Afterlife, for what it's worth, basically hits like your typical newer version of an older movie. And what I mean by that, like, you know when like they redid they did all the new Star Wars stuff and they had all the old Star Wars characters in it, and like a lot of it is like kind of just fan servicey. Well, Ghostbusters, you don't really have a lot of fan service, right? Like aside from the 4 Ghostbusters and like a few other characters and like Slimer, like that's it, right? So the movie is kind of a rehash of the second one. Because I think, is Ghostbusters 2... Hold on. It's been so long since I've seen either of them. I need the plot synopsis of this one real quick.
That's the one where the painting...
Yes, okay.
The goop.
So, the goop. So, yeah. Ghostbusters Afterlife is a kind of mishmash rehash of the plotline of Ghostbusters 2. Whereas Harold Ramis's character, Egon Spengler, like the movie, this is not a spoiler or anything. Like the movie opens up with him dying after being chased by like a ghost, like a spirit ball kind of type thing. And basically, the premise of the movie is his family is like trying to uncover something that he knew about like the world coming to an end. But like it's literally like the Keymaster, the Gatekeeper, and Gozer are back.
Oh, okay.
So it's like all of that again. But instead of having Rick Moranis and that other person, I forget who the girl was, it's Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon, the mom. Yeah. So it's good in some ways and it's bad in some ways. The writing is kind of shaky because at points like the mom of the movie, who's Aaron Spengler's daughter, Egon Spengler, sorry, Egon, not Aaron, basically keeps saying how like she didn't know her dad. She has no idea who her dad is. Knows nothing about her dad. But then like there's times where like they go to where he was living, and people were like, "Oh, he did like this really weird shit," and she's like, "Yeah, sounds like dad." I'm like, "Well, you just said that you knew nothing about your father," and then like people are saying that he was a weird fuck, and then you're like, "Yep, that's my dad." So
always doing that weird shit.
And there is an extremely fan servicey moment at the end of the movie. But I will say the way they handle a certain character being or a certain actor being dead for this movie
Oh no.
is not bad. It could have been a lot worse.
Okay.
It could have. He never talks.
Okay.
So I was like, if he talks, I'm out. Like, I'm shutting this off. But like, it's not a bad scene. But like, you do get that fan service moment as you would from any other like rehashed film from like the 80s. But it wasn't. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I rented it for $6. I think I would have been mad if I saw it in theaters.
Okay.
Because like it would have been like $30. But like, you know, there's times where like obviously in the trailer they show what's his name, Finn Wolfhard finding the Ecto 1.
Yes.
And he's just like working on it. Like apparently this 17-year-old kid just knows how to work on cars out of like with no like previous like explanation of anything that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Just knows how to work on this like 1950s Cadillac hearse. And it's like the middle of the summer, and the daughter of the movie, like the actual kid, not like the daughter of Egon, is going to school in summer for summer school for some reason. Even though they like write her as being like this very smart and nerdy kid, like she's like obviously like a very like smart kid, but for some reason she has to go to summer school, and her brother, who's kind of written as a kind of like dopey 17-year-old boy who's just like super hocked up on his own what's that word I'm looking for? He's just kind of like looking at girls and shit, and he's like, yeah, I kind of like this. That's kind of what he's doing, but he doesn't have summer school. But like that's how they meet Paul Rudd's character, because he's the teacher. It's just like I said, the writing, if you could ignore a lot of the shaky to just straight up bad writing a lot of the times, it's not terrible, but also like not exactly what I wanted it to be, because I feel like it leans too much on the older films and doesn't like do much to create a future for the franchise, rather than just being like, hey guys, here's like, imagine your favorite band, right? I want you guys to imagine your favorite band and your favorite album by that favorite band, and then like another band that you kind of like completely covering that album and not doing anything to change it. And that's kind of like what Ghostbusters Afterlife is.
Oh, don't oversell this movie.
Because like I like Paul Rudd, I like Finn Wolfhard from like Stranger Things.
Oh, dude, I love Finn Wolfhard.
You know what I mean?
He's
Like,
fun.
so like there's people in this movie who are involved with this movie that I was like, oh fuck yeah, like Finn Wolfhard being like kind of.
Dude, have you? Okay, I'm so sorry. I have to share this joke from Finn Wolfhard. He was on Game Grumps once.
Mm-hmm.
He was, and he was like, "You want to hear a joke?" And he's then like, Dan's like, "Yeah, absolutely, tell me it." And he goes, "All right." An Irishman walks out of a bar. And it's just like silent for 30 seconds, and then they both just fucking start cracking up because like the joke was that the alcoholic Irishman would walk out of a bar.
Well, like what I'm saying is like there's characters, people in this movie, like even McKenna Grace, who plays the younger daughter, is like she's a good character in the movie, but like they also shoehorn in like two other characters, one whose name fucking pisses me off. There's like this other like little kid who's like super smart, who's in her summer school class, and he calls himself Podcast, and he just records himself talking everywhere he goes.
No.
Yes. And it's like, it seems like a very like boomers made this movie and they're like, oh, what do the kids like? Podcasts.
Oh yeah, they love them podcasts.
So you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of good ingredients. And I feel like if they maybe leaned more into like newer stuff and maybe had a stronger cast behind them, it would be better. But it's just okay. It's a very okay. Like I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. And I was really expecting to love this film, and it's just meh. You know, it's okay.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
My friend hyped the shit out of this movie, and I was like,
Why?
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Does your friend not have any sort of like critical thinking skills?
Yes. Actually,
Ouch.
it's very true. It's very true. He often tells me about things, and if it's something that he likes, like for instance, Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
you can do no wrong with anything except for the
See, no.
2016 movie, essentially. But like this one was like it did the bare minimum. It was a Ghostbusters movie. It was fantastic. I really liked it. It was a great movie. You should see it. And I'm just sitting here like I never believe anything you tell me.
No.
Which is why, literally, if he tells me anything, I talk to our other friends, and I'm like, so how's this thing?
How's
I heard
that
you saw it as
Ghostbusters
well.
movie?
Because, like, he told me Spider-Man was, like, incredible. And I was like,
The new one?
yeah.
Okay, that is actually true, though.
That's why I didn't, like, seek it out or, like, obviously I can't go see it, but I didn't even look to see when it would be coming out on Blu-ray or anything until, like, you told me it was incredible. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, he actually is telling the truth for once, or actually he's correct for once.
Yes. So that's my thing is that like as somebody who you gotta understand, original Ghostbusters 1 and 2 is kind of like some of my favorite like films from that time. Because like there's people like I love Rick Moranis, I love Sigourney Weaver, I absolutely adore anything Bill Murray's in because Bill Murray's like one of my favorite actors of all time. And like Ghostbusters 1 and 2 kind of had that like remember when like SNL was actually funny?
Yeah.
And like a lot of their like properties were turned into movies, like the movies were good.
Oh yeah.
Like Blues Brothers and shit like that. Like Ghostbusters, original Ghostbusters kind of has that feel like it's better than what it's supposed to be. The comedy is there. It's not trying too hard to be funny, but it also has like serious moments in it.
Oh yeah.
And like it has a perfect like balance between being a comedy movie but also being like a I don't know what you would call like what else you would call that like what I don't know like other because
Comedy, like action movie.
yeah like comedy / action movie like it's good it's just a good movie and
I
like
feel
obviously what's that
I was gonna say I feel like Ghostbusters, The Goonies, and Beetlejuice are like the three movies from that time that I'm like,
yes
yeah, like it just has the perfect mix of everything to make it like just an overall great film.
yeah no like Goonies is great yeah Beetlejuice is great although you know they're all great but like I will say that the new Ghostbusters is worth at least one watch on because I got it on Prime Video for I think like $7.
I'm sure it'll be on a streaming site.
So I mean,
within
like
the next like year.
if you're perusing
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing else on that you want to watch,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know what? Let me dive into this. How bad could it be? You know, because in all actuality, it's not the worst film I've ever seen. I would never like that would be a huge disservice to it because it wasn't like terrible. It just like
it was there.
It was just there, and it does things, and it's very obvious that this movie was a you know kind of how like Duke Nukem felt like just a mess of things kind of just hodgepodge together.
Oh, you mean the newer one? Yeah.
Because it's in like a development for like because Ghostbusters 3 has been a concept for like the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
So this just kind of feels like a lot of like those leftovers and scraps kind of formed into a ball that, you know, works. But like maybe certain characters were written for certain other people in mind, and like now that the movie's been taking so long to come out, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of like evolution with it over time, and there wasn't a lot of updating to everything else to kind of keep up with it.
So I have a question for you. Did you ever play Ghostbusters, a video game?
No, but I really fucking want to.
So I've played it, and I kind of agree with a lot of people. That is Ghostbusters 3.
Yes.
So if you have the ability to do so, in fact, I think it was part of PS Plus, so you might have it without knowing it.
I think I might have added to my library. I'm gonna have to check.
I would recommend checking that out because that's actually a really good fucking.
Because I believe they have the all original people voicing, like even Harold Ramis.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my boy.
I never finished it, but I like what I played.
How do you feel, Mike? Or you feel like what people said about like that would be Ghostbusters 3?
I mean, that's what what's his name said.
Dan Aykroyd?
Yes, Dan Aykroyd. He's like,
Oh,
this
okay.
is their story. He literally said this is their story for like the third one. I'm almost curious to see if it would like this movie would like supersede, what they did in this. But I don't know.
Well, I kind of really want to go and check if I have the, because even if I don't have the game, I might go and buy it because now I'm in like that. You know how like
it's like $25.
you know how like Mike watched like one Jurassic Park movie like last year. And he was like, now I need to consume any of this game or this IP's physical media, inject it straight into my body. Now that's like what I want to do. Is like, wow, I really have been meaning to play that game for the longest time. Like even when it originally came out, I was like, oh, I should really get that, and just never got it.
2009. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I was a freshman in high school when that game came out. I might have to go back and actually maybe give that game a chance this year because I've heard nothing but good things about it. And if that is supposedly supposed to be the actual third Ghostbusters movie, then I need to play it and I need to experience it. And yeah, but I really hope they continue making Ghostbusters things because like it's not like the franchise necessarily needs to die. I just want them to do better. Just need them to do better.
They could just make like a comic book. Comics always do better than movies.
You know how I can you know what the perfect way I can wrap this up with? Do you like the original Tron?
Oh no. Do
you like the original Tron?
I do.
What are your feelings about Tron Legacy?
You know that one episode of Futurama where their goal is to find and destroy every copy of that movie? That's my feelings of Tron Legacy.
Because my thing is like Ghostbusters Afterlife is to original Ghostbusters as Tron Legacy is to Tron for me. Whereas like
you're not selling me.
I don't care for it, but like the part of my being that is like I'm just so glad that this IP is being used is kind of like that.
The only thing good about Tron Legacy is the soundtrack, and I could just listen to that without having to watch Tron Legacy.
Very true. But yeah, no, like just you can give it, give it some of your time if you like it, if you want to do that.
I have a story. I saw Tron Legacy twice in 3D in the same day because two groups of friends wanted to go see it, and I paid both times.
Oh my goodness.
And I felt ripped off both times when I saw that movie.
I'm honestly impressed that you're like, yep, you know what, run it back one more time.
Sometimes your friends are like, oh, I haven't seen that movie yet, and you're like, yeah, I'll go see it with you, because you don't want to like ruin it for them, and you also want them to be able to form like their own opinions on things and everything. And that was kind of how I was about that. So I was just like, yeah, I'll go. Let's go. I mean, luckily for me, later on, they were willing to listen to my opinion when I took them, I took 5 groups of friends to go see fucking Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, so that was good. Yes. But yeah, Tron Legacy is not good at all, and the more... the older I get, the more I realize how shit of a movie it was. And like I said, there's literally a Futurama episode where Fry is like, my one goal in life is to find and destroy every copy of Tron Legacy. Like, he legitimately says Tron Legacy. And he's like, we have to find every DVD and every Blu-ray and destroy the existence of that movie. And Leela's like, if it's the last thing I do, we will do that.
Oh my god. Incredible.
I mean, it was great. That was a great episode too, and I also really like Futurama.
Side note: here's what Dan Aykroyd said about the Ghostbusters game back in 2009.
Okay,
he says, "I'd want to see the third movie made. I think that the video game is the third movie, and if everything is creative and right, this game could actually help the third movie get made." So, there you go.
The entire episode of fucking. No, wait, no. Damn it. I wish I could remember. Oh, that was the movie. Wait, maybe?
The movie?
What?
I was trying to figure out what episode of Futurama made the reference to Tron Legacy. Yeah, like, here's the quote. Oh, it wasn't a bad life. If only I could get back that time I spent watching Tron Legacy. Leela, I've made up my mind. Before I die, I'm gonna find and destroy every remaining copy of Tron Legacy. It may take us a couple of hours.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, so there's Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm. So I watched something also. We can go into that. Nick, I watched an anime. I watched the entirety of an anime in 2 days. I watched yeah, my friend was like, all right, we gonna start the show or not? And I was like, okay, fine. So I watched 2 episodes. And I was like, all right, I'll watch 2 more. And then like after that, I was like, I can't watch any more for tonight. And last night, I was like, all right, I'll watch a episode. I was like, well, I can't just end there. I'll watch another episode. And then at 9:30 a.m., I was like, all right, well, we finished the first season. Or the first part, I guess, because we watched all 11 episodes in 2 days, essentially.
Okay.
Have you heard of a show called Mishoko Tensei or Jobless Reincarnation?
I don't believe so.
All right, so this is the first ever isekai that was made. It's what started isekais. It is literally considered like the birth of the genre, and it's from like 2014. It just got a television show last year. This show is very controversial because the person that is the main character is a absolute scumbag. Like a massive scumbag. We're talking like looks at that kind of stuff that you should be in jail for. That kind of scumbag.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
The anime variety. You get what I'm putting down, right?
Okay, yeah.
So essentially, as like a 34-year-old or something, he's a fucking degenerate who never leaves his home and only watches cheese pizza anime. I'll leave it at that. He's a very, very bad person. A very, very, very bad person.
I get the message.
Yeah, man gets hit by a truck and fucking dies. You know, the usual, that sort of thing. And he gets reborn as a child, like a baby. So he has to like start his birth over from the beginning. Like he's actually reincarnated. So he starts out as a baby and everything. And in this world, he decides that he wants to become like a mage when he learns that he's in a fantasy world, which takes him a little while because he actually has like the mind of a 34-year-old, but he's in the body of a baby in like the first episode and everything. So like he can't talk, but we hear the voiceover of the main character that died in the other world, and you hear his thoughts, which are very impure, such as about his new mother's chest size and stuff like that. So like again, he's still being a massive scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
But as the show goes on, at least, this is explaining more or less what would lead someone to become this big of a scumbag. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I wasn't like this. It's society that made me this way. I became a recluse. I became like what people said that I was, that sort of thing. And it's very tropey, but it's because it's literally the first ever one that was made. And this is the first time it's ever been animated and everything. And it's made by a completely new studio called Studio Bind. They have made one show, and it's this one. And every episode looks like a fucking anime movie. It is, they make the joke about unlimited budget works for the people that make like Fate.
Well, Ufotable.
Yeah, Ufotable. Yeah, this is got as high a budget as that, I guess. Either that or these people are just incredible and are really like dedicated to the show. But this show is like really, really deep. Like there's entire fake languages made up for this show specifically, and you can actually translate them. And in this show, he like wants to do everything he didn't as the awful human being that he was before and everything. But he still like retains some of his morals from the past. So like he thinks of like scummy ways of doing business instead of actually doing the right thing. So he's like, all right, well, why don't we just team up with these people that were like really bad people that were like kidnapping people's pets and then selling them back to them and that sort of thing. Let's do that. But then like he's like, I have to do better, that sort of thing. I have to do better just in general. And he learns slowly over time throughout the show, yeah, I was a piece of shit. And there's actually some like introspectiveness to his character and actual character development, not just, hey, I'm overpowered character who was a scumbag in my past life and now I have everything I ever wanted. It's like he even has like flashes of like his past life from when like he would get bullied and this sort of shit and what made him become like a recluse and just a shut-in neat piece of shit in general. And you see him grow up as a kid, as like from a baby to like into his late teens and that sort of thing. You learn about the new world that he's in, and the world building's so good that as you get to follow this character and all the people around him and all the ways that he interacts with them, some of them are quite terrible. But it seems like every single time it's like a little bit more character development where it's like, oh shit, I am actually a garbage human being. And like he will quite literally call himself that and realize it and have that realization of things like that. At one point he's like talking to God and because he got killed again, and as he's talking to them, he's like, do I really have to be in this body? And it's like his old like 32-year-old, like 34-year-old body of the like big fat shut-in neat guy that was such a piece of garbage that like we saw at the very beginning and whatnot. And that body like now infuriates him because he's come and tried to do better and tried to become a better person, and there's been like actual character development over time. The only reason I'm telling you there's actual character development is because at the beginning he's really bad. Several people like shut this show off at like episode 4 because he's really bad, and they don't shy away from it. It's a very mature show in its themes and that sort of thing. But this is the only show in like 6 or 7 years, and this is like the only isekai that I was like, yeah, this show's fucking perfect. It's actually fucking phenomenal. I highly recommend watching it. And it's so controversial with its themes that it didn't get nominated for anime of the year, even though it absolutely should have been. But yeah, if there is one anime that you try watching because I recommend it, I would say it would be this one.
Okay.
Because it gives you an idea of where like all the tropes and everything came from, and also it does such a good job and such a great effort with trying to build a world that like several times when I was watching this I was like, oh, this is on par with like something like fucking Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones with like world building. The world building is fucking phenomenal. Like they've created entire continents and entire different languages for each one of them and this, that, and the other, and it's really cool how you get to see it go from like being in a small village to like the whole world's this person's oyster, and we get to learn alongside them about the world that they're going through, and it's very interesting. Feels like a sort of like a JRPG opening up over time. It's really neat. So yeah, highly recommend it. And like I said, it's the only thing that in like maybe the last 5 or 6 years I've been like, yep, that's a perfect show.
Oh, really?
I can't find any faults with it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It feels like a 90s anime, Nick. Like the way it's written. If that makes any sense.
That does.
So there's that. And I guess that's all I have to say.
Okay. You guys ready to move on to little news we got?
Yeah, sure.
All right. News time. Grand Theft Auto's coming. You don't say.
Yeah. So I wrote this down because, like, I feel like every week everybody's like, "Man, we're GTA 6," and I'm like, do you really, for a second, think that like Rockstar isn't making another Grand Theft Auto? That they had to come out and be like, "Hey guys, we're making GTA 6, don't worry," and everybody's like, "Oh, thank God, woo!" And then everybody starts patting each other on the back.
I feel like this is literally just Rockstar being like, please forget that we made the anniversary collection. We're making GTA 6. Please don't hit us. I feel like that's what this is more so than
Maybe,
anything
but
else.
it's just like I just hate because like fucking Bethesda did the same shit with fucking Elder Scrolls. Like, of course they're making another one. Did you really need them to come out and be like, "Hey guys, don't worry. I know everybody's clamoring." Like, "Oh, will they? All is will they? Won't they?" Guess what? It's fucking GTA. It's probably the most profitable franchise that they have.
Yeah.
So like
that anyone has, honestly.
I didn't think they'd be like, "Yeah, you know what? 5 was great." I don't think anybody wants it anymore. Let's hang it up.
Yeah,
it's great. You know what? Let's just re-release it like 8 more times so we can catch up with Bethesda.
Let me just hang this one up. But yeah, so that was officially announced that it's happening today, just in case you were on the edge of your seat, not realizing that it was gonna come out. So,
who needed to hear this? No one needed to hear this.
People?
No one needed to hear this.
People needed to hear it.
All the people.
The people needed it.
They didn't. Those people that needed to hear this are too fucking stupid to hear this.
They needed to hear it.
Yeah, they're scared, Brandon. They're scared for their lives.
You know.
Shit, you right.
But yeah, no, I wrote that down because I was just like, everybody gotta shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. I wonder if they're gonna make another Call of Duty.
Nope.
I don't know.
Never.
They're canceled now.
All Call of Duty has been canceled.
Yep.
I hope there's another one. Just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Nope, there won't be. It's done. Forever done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No.
All right. Fine, Brandon. Jesus. All right. Thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you want to reach out to us, we're on Facebook, Twitter. You can send us email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Any final thoughts?
No. I'm good.
All right. Nick?
No.
Okay. Well, with that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin on Twitter or your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Games. Hey.
Oy.
God.
What?
You ever watch Bar Rescue?
Oh no, I didn't watch it yet.
Damn it. Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
Well, I immediately hopped into this and I saw the Bar Rescue thing, so now all I can think about is a horse slipping and shitting everywhere. But nothing much. What's up with you guys?
Not
Not
much.
much.
Okay.
I know we're a lively crew today.
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
Too.
Let's just do a sleepy podcast. We all
You
just
have
go to
like
sleep.
a different headset today, or
Hey, me?
different microphone? Yeah.
Nope, but thanks for pointing out. My mic was still retracted.
Oh, okay, because on our side, at least for me, all I heard was like, so it sounded like you had the mic in your mouth, and you're like, oh, silly me, I was still chewing on it.
No, it was retracted, so I guess all you heard was the reverberations of me
Yeah.
eating something.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But no, that's good. Yeah, I figured I'd mention it before we get started. Let me open the thing up. Did you guys see there's a Wolf Among Us 2 stream coming Wednesday?
No.
Yeah. They're showing off the Wolf Among Us 2.
So they
Oh my
say.
god.
What?
I was like, I wonder how bad it sounded because I just now realized that I've had my mic retracted this whole time, even when I was streaming the other day. When I like turned on my stream, which was 9 hours long. I picked a random spot. I just hear me going, "Ah!" and it's like peaking the mic really loud, and I'm like, all right, that's how it sounded. Wonderful.
And nobody said anything.
Not at the time.
Wow.
I guess I just used my bullshit.
The chat's probably just all been like, what the fuck is wrong with their mic?
No, I can actually see the chat. The chat didn't say anything like that. But yeah, all right, that's good to know.